Hello, amazing people. Welcome to IFL-SC Global Academy, your premier platform for engaging, for thought-provoking, and for transformative conversation that drive global change. We love development on this program, and we're always talking about development. Anything that concerns development, it's our priority, and that's why we will talk to you about the sustainable development goals. Because if development is not sustainable, then it's not development at all. So we want to say, soy su presentadora. Hoy y vamos a profundizar en un tema que no solo es vital para todo el continente africano, la inclusión de las mujeres en la política, en la toma de decisión. Bienvenidos al programa. Bienvenue à tous, je suis votre présentatrice et aujourd'hui nous allons vous parler, nous allons plonger en profondeur dans un sujet qui nous est vital et vital pour l'ensemble du continent africain. Nous parlons d'un sujet très important, l'inclusion des femmes en politique et dans la prise de décision. Bienvenue au programme. Okay, welcome. Today we're diving right into something very important. I am Marie, your host, and today we are diving deep into a topic that is very, should I say, controversial, and very hot these days. When we talk about it here on the African continent, we're talking about women's inclusion in politics and decision making. That's a very hot debate. You want to agree with me, and especially that at the heart of this conversation today, we are mentioning a bill that is very prominent today. We're talking about reserved seats for women bill. It's a very powerful bill that's being projected now. Reserved seats for women bill. What is it? Well, it's just a step to making sure that women are no longer left out of the halls of decision making, the halls of power. That bill seeks to make sure that women are supported to some seats are reserved for women to be on the table, discussion table, decision making table. And this is in line with the SDGs. More importantly, it talks about gender equality, which calls for women full and active and effective participation in leadership at all levels of political and public life. Okay, it's a very hot debate today, especially each time we want to talk about women issues, gender issues, human rights issues. I'm sure that all of you will be in my comments down there talking and discussing with me, exchanging today. But before we dive into it, don't forget what we do on this program. Okay, go down there, subscribe, like, comment, share. I will want to spread the news to millions of girls out there, millions of women. And these days, you're talking about boys too. Because over the years, we're talking about empowering girls, women. What about the boys? Are we leaving them out? No. So why am I doing this? As always, I'm passionate about development. And it's my personal mission to talk to you about GREAT, GRET, gender equality, reality into action, education and empowerment, action for climate, and training for the future. That's my goal. That's my passion. That's the walk, the path I walk. And I always want people to join me on that path. So I want to ask, what does it mean for us? What does that mean for you? Well, by giving women a fair and guaranteed place on the table or at the decision making level, we are also developing the world. Yes, when women participate meaningfully in decision making, they shape better laws. Did you know that? There are fairer budgets, there are more peaceful communities, and that is how we will move Africa forward if we have all these things in place. Because a more equitable society means a more developed society, a more resilient society, a more inclusive Africa. And so today, the atmosphere is charged with purpose because it signals that together we can have a breakthrough for African communities, for Africa as a whole. We can decide to change the course of Africa. Absolutely. Let's look at some statistics, some facts now. Women make up to half of the population in Africa, yet their representation in politics, in governance, in leadership remains shockingly low. It's not just low, but it's shockingly low. Very, very low. Right now, let's take the case of Nigeria, which likes to pride itself to be the giant of Africa. For instance, look at the giant of Africa statistics there. What do we see? We see that Nigeria's 10th National Assembly, in that assembly, women occupy only 17 seats out of 469. Can you do the mathematics? 17 seats out of 469 seats, which is a meager 3.6%. I mean, that breaks my heart. It's really, really, because it really breaks down to just 3% for the House of Reps, 3% and 7% for the Senate. That's just nothing. What is happening? What's happening to Nigeria, the giant of Africa? Is it that Nigeria cannot find the women who are capable to occupy those seats? Okay, is it that the women don't have value in Nigeria? That's a question we have to ask. All of us must be able to ask that because it's very shocking. Because I know that Nigerian women are some of the most brilliant. When you step out there, go to Europe, go to America, go to other continents, you find Nigerian women so vibrant, so eloquent, so well read. They have all kinds of degrees. They are into all kinds of business. So they are smart. Nigerian women are among the smartest women in the world in this 21st century. So we're still very amazed at what's going on. Is Nigeria going backward? Because globally, research has consistently, several times over the years, consistently, several research have been carried out and have shown that women when women participate in decision making, in leadership, in politics, there are better policy outcomes. Yes, it's been proven. It's not me making it. Stronger peace building, reduce inequalities, and overall healthier countries or democracies. So tell me what's going on? Why is the African continent, Nigeria, in this situation? Yeah, here is a phrase I like to hold on to because when I talk to some men, they tell me, "Oh, you are always asking for something. You're always clamoring for equality." I tell them that inclusion is not a privilege; it is a democratic right. That you include women, you're not making them a favor, giving them a favor. It's not a privilege; it is a right because they make half constitute half of the population. So how does Nigeria measure up to other African nations? Let's look at it. Let's see. It's interesting to see what other African nations are making, how they're making progress. How does Nigeria measure up with its peers, African countries? Let's see. Let's just look at some statistics. It is interesting to see that other African nations are making progress. Now, let's try and juxtapose or compare the giant of Africa, Nigeria, to the non giants of Africa, a country like Rwanda, which is not really a giant. Now, when we look at the statistics, Rwanda, as I speak to you today, leads the world in terms of women's representation. Rwanda is really leading the world today. 61% of its lower house seats held by women in Rwanda as I speak to you. Have you even visited Rwanda lately? You can see that Rwanda is a change place, very developed. The system is working. A lot of innovation. Government is working so well. Development is ongoing. It's not just for free. It's not just it just happened. No, because they are consciously making that they maintain that equality, that equal representation at all levels of endeavor, at all levels of public life and decision making. Another country that I love so much that I'm going to talk to you about is Senegal. Senegal also is making a lot of progress. Do you know that Senegal has 44% women in parliament? Yes, thanks to what they have legislated quotas. They have quotas. And then 44% seats for women. That's happening right now as I speak to you. That's a smaller country as compared to Nigeria. Now, let's look at another country. Nigeria might say, oh, it's only happening to small countries. Let's look at another big country in Africa, South Africa. South Africa boasts of 46% women in the National Assembly. 46%. And they were helped by party quotas. They have what they call party quotas. So they have 46%. That's another big country in Africa. Now let's look at another country called Ethiopia. Ethiopia, as I speak to you, has 38% women in parliament. from the time of 2018, because they had a reform in 2018 to make sure that there is more inclusion of women. And since then, they have 38% of women in parliament. Mozambique has 42%. So are you serious? Is Nigeria serious? Can Nigeria still claim to be the giant of Africa after all the statistics I've given you? I doubt. With the country still stuck below 4% representation of women, we cannot make that conclusion so easily. So even the current administration of President Tinubu, if you look at his cabinet, what do you find? Only 8 women out of what? 48 ministers. Wow. That's about 17% or what? Still far from acceptable in modern and inclusive governance. So what is the problem? What really is the problem? So drop your comment down there. What do you think? Is Nigeria still looking for qualified women and couldn't see them? Or is it orchestrated? What's your own opinion? What do you think about that? This comparison should wake you up, should wake up call. Nigeria is one of the lowest in Africa in terms of women representation. And unless something is done, it will keep falling. It will keep going down. And action has started. Yes, I can assure you that action has started now. A lot of people have stood up now advocating for what they call reserve seats for women bill. It's a bill that is being pushed forward now that, okay, since it's not working, let's make a deliberate attempt to include women. And that's what the bill is saying. So, Reserve Seat for Women Bill is a progressive legislative measure designed to break through those barriers. What is really blocking women? Break through that barrier so that we can have that representation in political life. And that bill draws inspiration from Nigeria's constitutional principles of equality. It's enshrined in the constitution. The Nigerian constitution says both genders are equal. We're all equal before the law. The Maputo Protocol calls for more inclusion of women. The CEDAW, CEDAW, which is the famous convention, CEDAW, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. It calls for equality, equity, and parity for women in decision making and in leadership. And the much talked about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, all those bills, all those frameworks, all those treaties are things that are meant, and Nigeria is part of all of them, mind you. Nigeria is a signatory to all of them. This reserving, they are pushing for women to step into leadership and for women to be encouraged to step forward to lead. So, but the results bill says that it's going to be a temporary special measure, not a forever arrangement. Its goal is to rebalance the political participation so that women can stand shoulder to shoulder with men in leadership. So the bill hopes to do a lot of things. For instance, secure women's presence in decision making. It seeks to ensure fair representation of communities, including the coastal communities and South communities. It seeks to empower women to confidently contest for open seats in the future. So that, okay, if you reserve some seats for women, women can contest and compete against themselves, and the best is taken. But let's have those seats already there for women. The reserve seat for women campaign is not just about tokenism. No, the proponents of that bill say that it's not tokenism, it's about true democracy. It's about giving every Nigerian, male or female, the chance to shape the destiny of their country. That's what it's all about. And on today's show, we are honored to bring one of those very powerful women, one of those guests. She's one of those people championing this cause, championing this bill with incredible energy, with deep passion, and with dedication. You will listen to her when she talks in the next few seconds. She is Ebimebore Alaibi Elezenya. She is the South Zonal Coordinator of the Reserve Seat for Women campaign. She's a seasoned advocate for gender equality. She's even a strategic thinker. She's a woman of immense courage, immense experience, and she's worked tirelessly for at the intersection of women's rights, coastal communities development, and youth engagement. and she will be talking to us. She's a respected voice nationally and across the South. She'll be talking to us about women's political empowerment and why that bill should be passed and why that bill is so important to Nigeria. Let's take a look.
Thank you so much. We're taking it from the Assembly. This is a constitutional reform. A constitutional reform that allows women operationally to have reserved seats. So first of all, in all 36 states plus the FCT, we're going to have one seat reserved for the Federal House and the Senate. Then in the state level, we're going to have 3 seats reserved. So this is it. Once we go to the polls, everybody is aware, including the parties and every other person, that there are certain seats, this particular reserve seat, for women. Only women can contest these reserve seats in addition to the normal ballots that have been opened for other positions. So the reserve seat is asking that in all 36 states, across all parties, once this has gone and the bill is passed, we know the bill will be passed by His grace. Once this has gone, we are saying that 37 seats to be reserved for the House of Reps, 37 seats to be reserved for the Senate, and then 3 seats in the states, in the House, 3 seats should be reserved. Only women can contest these seats. Then in addition to this, we now have the other seats that are being contested by the men, and we can go from there.
Wow, fantastic. So you've heard that's a woman talking, and we have many more women like that in Nigeria, like her. There's so many women who are talking in favor of supporting other women to come forward. So tell us, what's your take? Go downstairs, comment, like, drop your comment. Should Nigeria adopt the reserve seat bill for women? What do you think? If you were in parliament, would you be willing to champion women's leadership? There are people, they call them he for she, that is men who dare to stand up and support women. They call he for she. They are men, but for the female gender, supporting women. So I want to see a lot more men who are he for she's supporting women in leadership. So drop your answers below. We'll feature the best comments on our next episode, and we will also give you a thumbs up, a shout out when we talk about this next time. Well, if you enjoyed this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to hit the notification bell so that when the next episode emerge, you will be there ready to answer. Well, for me, I am Marie and the entire IFL-SC Global Academy team. I want to say thank you today for watching. Stay inspired, and please keep building a more fairer world, a balanced world, a world where both male and female have the same opportunities, a world where girls and boys are taken seriously. They're all given equal chances to prosper and to grow. So on that note, I'd like to say see you next time on our next episode. Please go downstairs and drop a comment. Bye for now.